Shalom everybody and welcome back to Insights in the Parsha of the Week, Parshat Shoftim. So as you can see, this Parsha is packed with so many laws. One that we'd like to focus on tonight is the laws of the Arei Miklat, the cities of refuge, which the Torah has mentioned a few times already at the end of Bamidbar, okay, and there's other places, and this week's Parsha. So the laws of Arei Miklat basically is that someone who killed unintentionally, so he is entitled to flee to this city. And why do you have to flee? Because the family members of the person who was killed accidentally might be burning for revenge. They might not accept that he killed accidentally, according to the ruling of the Beit Din. So he's allowed to hide in these cities, these villages of refuge, and they're not allowed to hurt him at all. Okay? So the Torah this week's Parsha goes into delineate the exact location where you should put the cities of refuge, and how every crossroads, every intersection has to have an arrow pointing to the Arei Miklat. Why? So that a person who's running to get to the Arei Miklat, he shouldn't have an excuse and a reason why he didn't get there on time. There'll be every interchange, on the roads it says Miklat, arrow this way, that way, and then the Torah goes into details of where to be positioned. To third, le'ashlish, the whole country from top to bottom, and at every third you put one of these villages of refuge. Okay, and Rashi's bringing it down also, and we know already that in the eastern side of the Jordan River, before the Jews entered, and the Jews already conquered the land of Sichon and Og, and in a wake attached it to the Holy Land. That's where Reuven and Gad and half of Menashe took their land. So Moshe Rabbeinu, he's the one who already picked and chose the three cities of Arei Miklat that should be there. So he said, Moshe Rabbeinu, a mitzvah that comes to my hand and I can do it, I'll do it. Because if he's already allowed there, he's not allowed to pass into the Holy Land itself. So he said, if it's a mitzvah that applies to this land, because of the tribe of Reuven and Gad and half of Menashe, so I'll do it. And Moshe Rabbeinu set aside the three Arei Miklat on the eastern side of the Jordan River. Yehoshua is the one who, after they did the kibush, they conquered the land of Israel. So in his time and afterwards, they set aside these three for the Holy Land. So now the Torah says about the future. Look what it says here. Chapter 19, verses 9 and 10. Sorry, so 8 and 9. Sorry, verses 8 and 9 and chapter 19. He says, "Ve'im yachiv Hashem Elokecha et gvulecha," and if Hashem will expand, Hashem your Lord will expand your borders, kasher nishba' lavotecha, like He swore to your ancestors, your forefathers, ve'natan lecha et kol haaretz, and Hashem will give to you the whole land, asher diber latet lavotecha, in which He spoke that He would give to your forefathers. So verse 9, ki tishmor et kol mitzvah hazot, if you safeguard this whole mitzvah, to do it, lasota, asher nochim mitzavecha hayom, in which I'm commanding you to today, which is what? Le'ahavat Hashem Elokecha, to love Hashem your Lord, ve'lalechet bidrachav kol hayamim, and to go in His ways of Hashem all your days. So the reward for that will be, ve'yasafta lecha od shalosh arim, you will add another three cities of refuge, al hashalosh ha'eleh, on these three which you should add in the Holy Land itself. Because the order is the three that were done by Moshe Rabbeinu in the land of Sichon and Og, and then the three in the Holy Land itself, and then the three additional ones. So let's take a look at Rashi. Ve'im yachiv, in verse 8, and if Hashem will expand. So Rashi reads, don't translate and if, rather read it, kasher nishba latet lecha eretz keni uknizi v'kadmonim. And if really is when Hashem will give you an expansion of the land, like Hashem already swore to give to you the land of Keni, Knizi, and Kadmoni, who referred to, by the way, as Ammon, Moab, and Edom. The lands of Ammon, Moab, and Edom, which seem to be close by the Holy Land, will be added to the Holy Land. So when Hashem adds more land in the future, this is when Mashiach comes. Okay, verse number 9, Rashi, ve'asafta lecha od shalosh, and you should add another three. Rashi says, Hare Tesha, so in total we have 9 cities of refuge. Shalosh shebe'ever Yarden, like we said, the three on the east side of the Jordan River, which is what Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who established them. V'shalosh shebe'eretz Canaan, the three in the land itself of the holy land of Canaan, which Yehoshua and the Beit Dinim after him did. V'shalosh latid lavo, and three for future. Okay? So in total we have here 9 cities of refuge, 6 present day Israel, which we don't have right now because we don't have a Beit Din, we don't have a Beit HaMikdash. But when the temple was standing and the Jews had conquered the land and were settled properly, so the 3 that Moshe Rabbeinu established in the land of Sichon and Og, which today is like Jordan, where Jordan is today, and the 3 in Eretz Yisrael. And when Mashiach comes, another 3. So there's a few questions here. Question number 1, we're always taught that, in the future there'll be the lamb will live with the zev, with the wolf. Lo yisa goy el goy cherev velo yilmedu od milchama. One nation will not raise a sword against another. There'll be no more war. So all the more so by the Jewish people there won't be war. So why the need to make 3 more cities of refuge, which happens when people are killed unintentionally, and the family members want the goel hadam, those who want to redeem the spilt blood, want to take revenge? You would think in future there's not going to be that attitude anymore. It's going to be love and peace and happiness. So why is the Torah telling us, of the importance of making another 3 cities? And also the Torah stresses this arei miklat in important parts of the Torah. All of a sudden they juxtapose to very important parts of the Torah, like I think you can see by the 10 commandments in Vayet Hanan, that also there is brought down the arei miklat. You begin to wonder, why such a big deal? Why does the Torah emphasize a lot these arei miklat, to the extent that even Moshe Rabbeinu was so burning to do it, to already set aside these cities of refuge in his lifetime? It's like his priority. It was Moshe Rabbeinu's priority to get the arei miklat set. What's going on? What's so drastic and so severe? And again, the question that we asked, why in the future you're going to add another 3, 9 cities of refuge because of killers by accident? There's still going to be such a thing. We get the impression when Mashiach comes, everything will be beautiful and peaceful and harmony, and there'll be high perceptions of godliness by everyone. No one's going to do stupid things of killing someone unintentional. So what's going on? What is this? How can it be? Kaini, Knizi, Kadmoni. What's going on here? So it seems that the idea of a shogeg, because these cities were reserved for Jews who killed unintentional. What is a shogeg? A shogeg is someone whose intent is pure and holy and good, but the action was wrong. He had a good intention, like the Torah brings this week's the Parsha. The guy was chopping wood in the forest. Rashi brings this down. It's also in the Psukim, okay? And by accident, the axe slipped the actual wood in kata, it's called, and it hit and killed the guy who was standing next to the guy while he was cutting the wood. Or another example Rashi brings down from a different opinion, that the guy was cutting the wood and a sliver of the wood that he cut went in and killed the person. It went into his neck, stabbed him, and he couldn't breathe and he died, for example. So here the person had no bad intention at all, and yet the act was done wrong. What's the idea of shogeg? The idea of shogeg, a person who's unintentional, is something which is far-reaching. A person who's unintentional is considered innocent. He's not considered guilty. That's why he's allowed to live. That's why he has these cities of refuge to run to. But because the action was blemished, still he needs to pay the price. What's the idea on a deeper level of shogeg? Shogeg is also a person who's running to do good, okay? But because he's too much in the light of doing good, so Hashem purposely makes him stumble in doing an unintentional action of evil, of bad. In this case, killing, which is an extreme example. Why is that set up? Why is it set up like that? So Rebbe Nachman explains in lesson 24, Likutey Moharan, that this is the way for a person to perceive light, the infinite light, which is clarity in life, and it's the sheifa. It's every Jew. His goal is to come to this light. Every Jew, in his inner essence, yearns to reconnect to this light, because the whole purpose of the universe, Rav Nosson explains, is that the infinite light shine into the world. Hashem created this finite existence of the universe so that mankind, with good deeds, with looking for God, come to reveal His light. Like the Zohar says, begin the Yishtemoda'in Led. Hashem created the world for the purpose of that He should be made known in the world. Hashem being made known in the world is basically His infinite light shining into the world. Two opposites. A finite existence, yet containing with it access and awareness of Hashem's infinite light. Two opposites, okay? So a Jew running forward, Rebbe Nachman explains there in lesson 24, the way to perceive this light is he has to be bounced back. He has to experience what's called a betisha in the language of the Zohar, where he gets smashed, he gets smacked and bounced back, okay? The case of a person who's shogeg is very similar. His intent is honesty, doing good. He doesn't plan to kill anybody. He's not trying to hurt anyone. He's trying to do the will of Hashem. And yet Hashem makes a person stumble in bad actions, even though it's unintentional, but there's a bad action. Why? So it's similar to this scenario where a person is running forward to the light, and yet, like Rebbe Nachman says in lesson 24, the person is pushed back. Why is he pushed back? Because if he continues to go forward, the person will disintegrate in the light. The light is too intense, so he will disintegrate. So what's needed is a type of a barrier to push the person back. So too in the shogeg, a person is good, sometimes even too good, and he's going too fast, too much forward. This is brought down in this farm, by the way. And then from Shamayim, they make a person stumble and fall in a shogeg, an unintentional act of wrongdoing. He didn't want to do it. So then why did Hashem allow this to happen for that person? Because it's like a breaker sign. The person is doing good, yes, bravo, but he's going too fast, too ahead. The only way to stop him, in this case, is let him fall and stumble in unintentional sin. What did he do wrong? He didn't do necessarily anything wrong, but he's going too fast. He's going too forward with his goodness, his good-heartedness. So from Shamayim, they push him to a shogeg scenario, okay? So with this in mind, this also will exist in the future. Because in the future, there'll be a big level of awareness of Hashem in the world. Ummaleh ha'aretz de'ah et Hashem, right? Kamayim layam mechasim, that in the future time, the world will be filled with such knowledge of Hashem, like the sea. The sea where on the sea level you just see a flat sea, but under the sea level it's like there's levels, there's gradations and levels of how deep it goes. Okay, so too there will be levels of perception of God, of awareness, which will be so high compared to now. Because of that, there will exist shogeg scenarios where people are running to be good, to be sometimes too good, and they can't handle the light. They don't have vessels for this infinite light. So what's needed is to push them back. Sometimes they don't do it on their own. So Hashem forces an unintentional sin. He lets them stumble. They have good intent, but they do something wrong. Why, Hashem? Why? Because you have to take breaks. You have to put the brakes on. You have to take it easy. Okay? Because that's the only way, Rebbe Nachman says in lesson 24, that you can perceive the infinite light, is that you take the breaks, you take the bounce back, and while being bounced back, that's how you perceive. In the setback, that's how you perceive, okay? So with this in mind, we can understand why in the future 3 more cities of refuge will be added. The original 3 from Moshe, the 3 from Yehoshua in the land of Israel, and the 3 for Keni, Knizi, Kadmoni, land of Ammon, Moab, and Edom, okay? So these 9 will be added to the future scenario. Now the question still remains, why number 9? Why 9? Why not 15? Why not 25? Why not 40? Why number 9? The number 9, Rebbe Nachman says, refers to the idea of 9 chambers. There are 9 hechalot, chambers, that are created when a person bounces back. These 3 are due to the 3 sections of the mind, which are called Chokhmah, Bina, Da'at, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. When being bounced back, they become intertwined, and they become multiplied. So 3 times 3 is 9. But more than that, Rebbe Nachman says that in order, B'ezrat Hashem, to come to these 9 chambers, to come to try to pursue the infinite light, a Jew must do mitzvot with joy. when a Jew does mitzvot with joy, the energy of the mitzvah, which is the energy of holiness, the energy of the divine presence itself, which is stuck in the exile, is extracted by the person who does a mitzvah b'simcha. So in that process, Rebbe Nachman mentions there's 3 stages. There's the stages of the legs, which are called Malchut, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. So that's really 4, sorry. Malchut is the actual holiness that's trapped. When a Jew does a mitzvah with joy, he extracts the level of Malchut, which refers to the Shekhinah, like we mentioned, out of the exile, and goes to the level of the legs, which are Netzach, Hod, Yesod, that 3, that tri group. Then it goes up to the level of the hands, which is called Chesed, Gvur, Tiferet, and then to the level of Chochmah, Bina, Dat. So it's 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. He says, just to explain, that when a person does a mitzvah b'simcha and extracts it from the evil, so that the mitzvah gains momentum, like walking with the legs. Momentum is normally associated with a person's legs. So too spiritually, the mitzvah now has momentum with its legs, and it goes to arouse the whole world back to Hashem. And then when that is done, bracha is activated due to the mitzvah, which correspond to the hands. That's why the Kohanim, they bless Aaron, and the Kohanim, they bless with the hands. And then finally, what that benefits is that the blessing of intellect is bestowed upon people. And that's Chochmah Bin Nun, the last triad, the last group of 3. So you have 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. So these 9 are miklat. Take a look. The first 3 in the diaspora were initiated by Moshe Rabbeinu himself. These 3 are miklat, cities of refuge, which were again for Jews who are unintentional, shogeg, good intent, but bad deed. Okay? So this was done in the diaspora, lands which were taken from Sichon and Og and became sanctified to a certain degree to the Holy Land. This was done by Moshe Rabbeinu because only a tzaddik of that caliber who can do mitzvah with such joy at the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. We know Moshe Rabbeinu was happy because we say every Shabbat morning, Yismach Moshe b'matenat chelko. Rejoice, Moshe, in the portion, in the gift of your portion. So Moshe Rabbeinu is someone, believe it or not, who represents Simcha, and he's the pinnacle of doing mitzvot b'simcha. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. So he's the initial extractor of the mitzvot. So he was designated. He was allowed to already set aside the 3 cities of refuge for unintentional Jews, for shogeg Yidin, and it was specifically in an impure land, the land of the diaspora, which again became to a degree sanctified, the land of Jordan today. He's the one who sanctified the first triad. Next, Yehoshua Bin Nun, the main disciple of Moshe Rabbeinu, who was allowed to enter the Holy Land, and the land of Israel being the source of blessing for the entire world. So he, Yehoshua Bin Nun, being a faithful disciple and receiving from Moshe Rabbeinu, which is the idea of hands. Also, Yehoshua had hands to receive from his teacher Moshe Rabbeinu. So he was given the merit to set aside the 3 cities in Eretz Yisrael, him and his disciples. So those are the 3 cities of refuge which were set aside in the land itself by Yehoshua Bin Nun. And finally, the last 3, which correspond to the mind, the actual blessing of intellect, Chochmah Bina Dat, which will be fully revealed when Mashiach comes. So Mashiach will be the one, Bezrat Hashem, to establish and institute the 3 final cities of refuge in the land of Keni, Knizi, and Kadmoni, which again is Ammon, Moab, and Edom, Bezrat Hashem. And that's the last 3 that we're waiting for. So 9 totaling, the 3 level, the 3 stages, and by 3 specific tzaddikim, who are the masters, each one, of that domain. Moshe Rabbeinu of the Simcha doing the mitzvot, Yehoshua Bin Nun being the disciple to receive the blessings due to Moshe Rabbeinu, and Mashiach, who will fight with the Torah received from Moshe Rabbeinu and will be the master. Mashiach, in a sense, is a reincarnation of Moshe Rabbeinu. That's why Moshe stands for Mashiach, Hu Sheyiyeh, right? That which was is what will be. That's Mem Shin Hey, and also Moshe's Gematria Shiloh, which is referring to Mashiach B'ezrat Hashem. So with these 9, we can understand why the city of refuges were set aside, or are going to be, and were set by these 3 tzaddikim, and why the idea of shogeg is so important. What comes out of all this on a practical level is that if you always express your good desire to Hashem, so even if, God forbid, you do fall to blemishes and doing wrong things, even to the extent of killing someone, if now you always bombard Hashem with good desires and you tell Hashem, I'm trying to be good, I want to be good, I don't want to be bad, I don't want to do bad, so you are in the category of shogeg and not mezid. Not like your death penalty and that's it, it's finished, it's final. You always have hope when you're shogeg. This is why the Ir Miklat is such a big deal, because it comes to show the level of hope for someone who's unintentional, even in an extreme example as murder and death, God forbid. Shabbat Shalom, and be well.